Um, what else? And then on the forums, a couple weeks ago, Kevin, when he first started the forums, so 3 weeks ago, he talked about how he said, a message board, a forum, it's a place to exchange ideas. It's where everybody can just come together and interact intellectually. It's not a popularity contest, and that had kind of been the way I've been operating. But I decided to really embrace that, like to more, express that concept of behavior. And as a result, I think that maybe what Kevin has said, and even by my own actions, that has been a positive influence on the message board, because the response now is that so many people are saying, "Wow, this is a really good forum. Wow, this is I like coming here. I like that it's clean. It's not people. There are some people trying to gain attention, but it's more people just sharing ideas and interacting and enjoying what each other create and post. And I think that, and then as a result of that, there's been a number of posts of people saying, I've changed my mind. I realize that I was wrong, or I really do enjoy it here. A number of people that they feel that the message board is a nice, positive place. It is a great place to interact. And then of course almost all of them have some bit about me, like Sky, yeah, you kind of flood. And yeah, Sky, you do this and that, and it's a little annoying, but I understand now what you're doing, or I respect that, or I hope this works out for you and this and that, and I appreciate that too. Just the way people can interact, and just but that's the weird thing about it, is just the emotional impact it seems that the show and the forums are having on them, that they are coming in with a negative attitude, or even an obtuse attitude towards things, that they just don't want to accept things. They want to kind of challenge, and like I said, that's part of just the power of the internet, is that it gives you this power. It gives you this feeling that you do have control, you do have say over anything, and all I'm doing, or part of what I'm doing, is just coming in and saying, well, let's use that power for good. Let's you have a voice. Express it, and express it intelligently, and communicate effectively. On top of that is just communication, which is just such an issue, because the other aspect about internet culture is that you see so many typos, spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes, people who just really don't know how to write in clear, concise ways, and so that's why I try my best to really communicate effectively and communicate in such a way that people can understand. So if I do write a lot of stuff, I try to break it up into neat little condensed paragraphs. And if possible, I try to even break it up into subjects, areas, that so that way my ideas are more focused, and the person reading it, they understand more clearly what I'm trying to get at. I'm still coming up with skit ideas. Some of them, get poo-pooed, but some, in general, a lot of people are responding well to them. They like the ideas I'm coming up with, so that, even if G4 doesn't use them, it makes me feel nice that, I'm creating something, and that people are actually digging it. People are, they're enjoying what I'm creating. So I like that, aspect of it. What else? Miss Bell keeps mentioning different things. Oh, this one guy, Edgy. He apparently works with the video game industry, and he had sent me an email response on Friday night, and I guess I just misunderstood where he was coming from. I thought he was being negative and attacking me, and I was a little inebriated at the time, and I was just kind of fed up with just so much negative posts. I mean, I just responded in a very aggressive, negative way to him. And then he said, man, I'm just trying to help you. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't realize, I apologize. So I'm curious. I'd like to talk with this guy and see what's going on with him. Here's another guy that he actually started out as a fan of the show, posting on the forums and sending voicemails. Went by Capt Smee, and apparently I guess he got a job with G4. I'm not sure exactly what he's been doing, but so send him a message, see what happens, if he'll respond to that. I did a forum feed, which was just kind of a little news thing about the forums and the fans of the show, and negative response from everybody. So, oh well. You know, and I guess partly because I was trying to make it a bit more like the video blog. I guess, and so for show-wise, well, yeah, so yeah, I guess I should talk about the show. Show-wise, Kevin was out on Monday. He was on assignment. It was Blair and Olivia. They had pretty good chemistry together. They're pretty funny, and it was good jokes too. None of the sexual tension, sexual jokes, which I think whenever you have a sexual tension joke, it invariably implies that there's a sleazeball involved. There's some sort of sleazy person involved. It's either the man or the woman. And so I kind of don't like these demeanings of character jokes. Blair comes in and just cracks these jokes that are they're very subtle. They're more play on words, more displays of wit, and I really dig those. She just very interesting host. Her stage presence isn't the best, and she's admitted that too. That she's not so comfortable in front of the camera. But the thing is, whenever she's on there, people just love her. People enjoy seeing her do her thing. Tape segments, she does better. She's funnier. She has better presences than that. I always get a kick out of seeing her too. And I it's just very interesting how and the other aspect about her is that she's real thin, very skinny, and just not sexual, not sexy really in any way. They gave her some lines, and I think to try to see if she could, do sexy. She just couldn't do it. She spoke in a German accent, and that was kind of cute. It was kind of funny, but it's just, it doesn't really come across that she's this alluring persona, and that's what the other personalities, Olivia, Kristen, and Layla, that they can capture. And that's what they do with Morgan on X-Play. Morgan Webb on X-Play is that. They put a lens, they put all this makeup on her, and really and give her these outfits to really, just ramp up her sex appeal, because they realize that that's the major draw for the show, is that, all these guys just want to stare at her. Meanwhile, this is a hilarious show, and it's, which just kind of confounds me, is like, God, why can't people just appreciate the humor and the intelligence that went into the show? And it's like, well, of course not, because if you give people the choice of intelligence or nudity, they'll go for a nudity. So, I would too, but at the same time, there's only so much, and then it's like, well, I actually do want to be inspired. I do want to be, I want something to, make me think or give me ideas. That's why I like shows like Bill Maher and O'Reilly and Daily Show and Cobra Report, just shows where people are talking and just expressing ideas. So it gives me ideas as well. Let's see but the other aspect of the show, Olivia was out because of her grandfather's funeral, and they had Blair as the counterpart. And they've had her on before. She's been she's acted across from Kevin, and there's a video broadcast or video podcast that she and Kevin did, and so they know each other behind the scenes. They interact with each other, and I think that she's all right. Live television, she's a little stiff. She has a little problem with that. Taped, she nails it. She does pretty good, and that's why on X-Play she always works out. But she's good. She has very good presence. And it was nice that we saw a side of Kevin that wasn't all sexual jokes. That's what I like about Kevin. Or that's what I really did Kevin. It's like when he can just be funny and intelligent, and just not, debasing all of men, in the process. And I think, that's one of the things I've discussed is that,